I don't know.
Oh, I ran today and my back hurts
now.
I'm not getting any younger, man.
I couldn't hit the bike trail yesterday because it was storming like an SOB.
Yeah, we had some weird microbursts yesterday out of nowhere. It was a warm, sunny day, and then suddenly it was raining. I don't know what's going on around here. Okay, let's see here. Takes up the sky. Okay, great. All right. Let's go then. Let's do what we're doing.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh. Zeladier, I'll talk to you after the show about that. I got a good answer for you there, buddy. Okay. Yeah, we get Jeannie's right. We could just send the Freakish Lemon mashups. That's not a bad idea. I got a really good one today.
Oh, God, no. Oh, the Freakish Lemon mashups, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Iceworm ones are so out of context that I don't know what they think about.
The Iceworms are bad.
Well,
I mean bad for that is what I mean.
Yes, bad for that, yeah. Yes.
Also kind of bad. All right, let's record a show. I think everything's ready, dude. You ready? You good?
Yes,
all right.
I'm good.
Lovely. Let's
hide this business. I'm responding to a listener in Japan who had some recommendations for me and also wants to take us out to dinner while we're out there.
Oh, lovely.
Have some ideas for that too. And I'm all about that, man. I totally want to meet up with somebody who knows the place and can give us some.
Is he a native or is he an American transplant? Who is he?
I think he might be. I don't think he's native, but I don't know if he's necessarily American based on his name.
All right.
So
there you go. Maybe he's the leaper.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder. Takemi Kazuch should be in Japan, right? Why isn't he hitting me up to take me out to lunch?
Yeah.
Jeez, Takemi Kazuch.
At least leave a hot bowl of ramen at his door or something. Okay, I think we're red eye. I'm gonna hit the go button here. Oh, you know what, Scott? Really, you ought to be prepared. Really. Hold on.
Guess what? What?
Nah, shush. Okay, those are in.
Oh, are you getting that flashing? Yeah, they're saying the GIF of me keeps flashing in the corner.
I don't know why it does that.
Oh well.
Hold on a second. I didn't do it yesterday.
It's epilepsy trigger.
Okay, it should be okay now.
What? Takemi Kazuchi, you're Canadian? I think that's misrepresentation of your screen name then. Misrepresentation.
Okay. I think we're ready now. Here we go. It begins in 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS, I have a Cobain question.
We got nominated for more stuff.
The Super Sack.
Thor is going to answer phones for Rey.
Ewoks in the new Star Wars.
Man fatally ate his tablet.
Gross. Truck full of sharks.
Therapy Thursday and more on this episode of The Morning Stream.
Guess what? What? He sold the Forrester deal, a $60,000 order. No. Yes. We're going to celebrate. He's coming by to pick me up.
Good. At last I get to see the Wonder Man, huh? You'll like him. He'll remind you of someone. Who? Oh, you'll see when he gets here. $60,000 orders. He can afford to get married.
Brian Everson. Commander Johnson.
The morning stream. 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 The morning stream.
The Morning Stream with Scott and Brian and a caveman.
The morning stream. The morning stream. The morning stream. The morning stream.
And a caveman.
Hello. Hi, everybody. It's the Morning Stream for Thursday, the 11th of June, 2015. I'm Scott. That's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Oh, hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm having a interesting morning. My wife was supposed to be home today and called last night and said that they weren't going to make it to Reno because traffic was so bad trying to get through Sacramento. I don't know why. Something was up there because they were like, what should have been about a 40-minute drive was like 4 hours or something.
Yeah, I question that then, right?
Yeah, it was a mess.
I think she's in Reno, and I think she's blown the nest egg.
It could be a huge nest egg we're sitting on. She decided to stay in Sacramento, and which is kind of a poop hole in some ways. And then she'll get back on the road and probably be home late tonight, maybe tomorrow now.
Yikes! Wow.
It's time. I need her back.
I want real food.
Man, we're falling apart. I can't put sriracha on everything. I'm starting to eat it raw. That stuff. It's not working out. Nick is Nick. He's probably still asleep right now. He'll probably sleep until I get done with the show.
Sriracha into a bowl, stick it in the microwave for 30 seconds, then eating with a soup spoon.
Yep, and trying to watch terrible reruns of something on Netflix. We're just a sour pile of man and future man here.
Aww.
At the home. But she'll be home soon and everything.
That was one of my favorite science fiction short stories.
Man and Future Man?
Man and Future Man,
yeah. It was an old 50s, pulpy kind of thing. Yeah,
you know the one, yeah.
It was excellent
exactly
work. Anyway, we're back and we're doing a show, and we're happy to be here.
Yeah, we are, yes.
Are we? I guess we are.
We are.
Okay, good. I am.
Well, I am.
I will. So you always are. It's always a question. It's never a question if Brian's happy. He's always the happy guy. Always
I'm happy to be anywhere, really.
Right.
That's the story of my life.
Right. Soon to be in Japan.
That's right.
When is the date? When do you go? What's the date?
The 19th we leave, so a week from tomorrow.
Goodness gracious on a
Tell
stick.
me about it. Wow. Holy poop.
Yeah, Japan.
Japan's not going to know what hit it when I get there.
That's right. All the covers you can eat. So check that out. That'll be soon, and we'll tell you.
That bald guy came to our country and ate all our sushi.
I'm seriously considering we'll talk about this Monday because I don't want to spill the beans yet. But while you're gone, I have a thought. We'll get to that later. I got a big question for you. Oh, first of all, sad day, although not that sad, because honestly, if you live to be 93 and you have as rad a life as Christopher Lee had, then it's not that sad of a day. But famed actor Christopher Lee, you know him as Saruman.
That's right.
The White.
Count Dooku.
Who
we mentioned quite liberally on DTNS yesterday.
Yeah, a lot, actually. Not that we were foretelling anything, but Christopher Lee has thrown off this mortal coil and has passed away. And he's
left behind some amazing performances and plenty of great roles that you can go watch. So
we ought to do one of his metal songs sometime on the show. Do you ever hear about that? His whole metal career that he had?
You think we should? Huh? Have you not looked at what the middle of the song?
Oh, is that
the show song is?
Never mind. No, see, I don't check those things. I want to be surprised. All right.
So yes, we should, and we will.
All right, watch for that later. Okay, I got a big question today. It is music related, and it's been bugging me.
Okay.
I'm about to, or will soon be watching that Kurt Cobain documentary. It's like the Heck
Kingdom of Heck or
That's
something.
It.
What is it?
I thought it was the Heck Do You Mean, not the Heck Do You Mean. What's it
the
called?
Heck Do You Mean? That's what it's called. Yes. Heck Do You Mean?
Something of Heck. Anyway, whatever it is, it's supposed to be really good, and I've always been kind of fascinated with Nirvana and the band and Kurt Cobain and that whole era. I'm a big fan of what quote unquote grunge brought to the music world. I think somebody needed to scrub all the hair metal out of the sink and put in something fresh, and that's what they did. And it kind of changed music. And I also feel like it was kind of, sort of the last year that the last decade we had a sound that the decade could call its own. Mm-hmm. So the 90s could say, yeah, that was one of our big sounds. And since then, 2000 to 2010, we didn't really have that. Not really. I mean, can you name the sound of the 2010s?
It's some teen pop star sound, right? It's going to be Justin Bieber. It's probably too early for Miley.
Way too early.
Yeah, 2000 to 2010.
She was still rocking the Hannah Montana then.
That's right. Yeah, but it would still be like
But see, that's not a decade defining sound, even if that's
it really isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the 70s had it a couple of ways. 80s definitely had it all over the place. 90s totally had it. 60s had it, 50s had it, 40s had it. They all had it.
Do we need to get further away from it before we start hearing it? I think we do.
I don't know, because I felt like in 2005, 2006, it was easy for me to look back on the 90s and say, "Yep, that was all about the Pearl Jam and the freaking."
Well, it was the grunge. Yeah, I mean, grunge was huge, but there was another sound too of like the kind of sappy acoustic, almost trying to be heavy metal bands, but like, Vertical Horizon and to some degree Smash Mouth, and all these bands that had Sugar Ray had this sound that I think also does a job of representing the 90s. That's not grunge.
I agree, and I would put that all in like alternative is what I would do with that.
Pop alt.
Yeah, pop alt, sure.
Alt pop.
Sure, why not?
Alt pop.
Well, it's alternative that quickly
Popeye, like Popeye, right? Popeye. Yeah, like Popeye. You talking about Popeye?
things are only an alternative until they're not. Meaning if they go mainstream, then he can't really call it alternative anymore. But I feel like it had its sound. But 2010, dude, we're far enough away now from 2000 to 2010, and there wasn't jack shite during that decade that you could look at and go, "Yep, it defined a decade, a whole generation."
Here's what it is, and you know what it is? It sucks, but it's stuff like Train, Bruno Mars. I mean, later Train, not Drops of Jupiter Train, but like they're hey, the
Oh right, isn't that more recent? I guess it's not. I guess that's
no. What is that? That's Jason Mraz. That I'm Yours. What was that? Hey Soul Sister.
Oh right.
What year was that? 2008, 2007?
2009.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was really just at the tail end, but
who are the big rock
I don't
bands?
know. I mean, it is hard to say that was a defining sound of that decade. It really wasn't.
I don't like it. It just bugs me that there's a hole there. But also, the internet created kind of a hole anyway. It's a weird thing. So I understand the transition. I get it. But here's the thing. Here's the big question.
Okay, ask the big question.
Nirvana. Would that band be legendary the way it is today had he not killed himself? Had he not committed suicide, would Kurt Cobain, that is, because as we know, Dave Grohl and the other guy,
Chris Novoselic
are all with us still.
Christ Novoselic.
Yeah, weird name. Would they be? I mean, I don't think they would be.
I think they would be for the same reason that Pearl Jam still is. Now, here's kind of the big question mark that hangs over that. What would they have done post? Not Bleach, post like Heart-Shaped Box, their Unplugged session, all that stuff that kind of came after.
Yeah.
What would they have done? Would they have kind of continued in that vein, or would they have evolved kind of the same way that Eddie Vedder and the sound of Pearl Jam has evolved?
Yeah, they've just kept changing. But nobody looks. See, this is what I'm saying. I think that if Eddie Vedder had died in some legendary rock and roll way, the way often these people do, they die too young, and then they're cemented forever, right?
Right.
Had he done that, I think we would look at Pearl Jam in the same way we do, Nirvana, because it's there's
we already do though. I think we already
though? Do we?
I think so. I rank Pearl Jam up there with Nirvana, if not maybe even a little bit higher than Nirvana.
But nobody's making constant documentaries and like other paraphernalia about Pearl Jam. They don't do it. They only do it about those other guys because those other guys created this legendary mystery,
Well, I think because the tale of Pearl Jam isn't over yet. You can't do a look back on Pearl Jam because they're still around. They're still doing stuff. At least Eddie Vedder is, and I think you wait on a documentary like that. The story of Nirvana is over for all intents and purposes.
Sure.
You've got Foo Fighters, you've got Dave Grohl still doing his thing, but it's easy to say, all right, we're going to do a documentary on Nirvana, not necessarily because they were a fantastic band. Yeah, I mean, I think that they did get that sound into the mainstream with Smells Like Teen Spirit more than any other band from that era. They put grunge onto the map, but it's a lot easier to say, hey, we'll do a documentary on them because they're done. That story is over. We have a beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
Whereas with Pearl Jam, we don't.
But what we did was we basically did the thing that we love here in our culture, which is we created an act in a play, and there's an ending to it. And there's no continuation. There were no raw years where people weren't into it, or a couple of bad albums, or what all these things these other bands go through. There was no ugly breakup. There was no attempt at a solo album by Kurt Cobain, because there's this ending to it, and we like that tidy ending. Although it's not a clean ending, but it's a tidy ending. So, like, would Jimi Hendrix be as big a deal had he not died too soon?
I think so too, because he was a big deal while he was alive.
Yeah, but is he a big? I'm saying, is he artificially a bigger deal because? He
I
died
mean, I
early?
know what you're saying.
I understand he's a big deal. You don't.
I'm
it's
trying to
not-
think of some good examples of bands whose members have died and it just didn't really seem to do anything for them. I mean, Queen was huge before and after. Actually, I'd even venture to say that Queen was bigger before the death of Freddie Mercury. They maintained their popularity afterwards, but they were huge. They were a huge band in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. But in his case, he didn't voluntarily die. In other words, what I'm getting at, I guess.
Think it because not just death, but you're talking like suicide.
Yeah. This is what I'm getting at, because what it does is rock and roll in some ways is about nihilism and about youth throwing caution to the wind and screw authority. I'm going to live on the edge. And sometimes when these guys do this, whether it's a drug overdose or it's some other thing, there's something about that.
The chat room came up with a great example of that.
All
In
right.
Excess.
Yeah.
Again, great band. Kick was a monumental album and was the apex of their career. And after the death and the suicide of Michael Hutchence, and there's question marks above that too,
And
right?
that's why I think that's why some people are a little fishy on that one, because it seems a little, quote unquote shameful, perhaps, the way he went out, and that maybe colors people's legendary appliance to that
Possibly,
band. Maybe I'm all I'm looking at is the psychology of it. It's Thursday, for heaven's sake. So this is
Ian Curtis and Joy Division. Another
Okay.
example there.
all right. What happened to him? I don't remember that one. What happened?
He killed himself.
Oh.
And there was no question about that.
Yeah.
And the rest of the members, or at least most of the rest of the members, went on and formed New Order and kind of went on like that. But I think they actually had success in spite of Ian Curtis's death. Ian Curtis? Am I thinking the right
I don't know.
name?
I don't
Ian
know.
Curtis. I'm pretty sure I'm questioning if I'm getting the name right.
Heir to the Tony Curtis fortune. Is that the guy?
Yeah, that's the right
All
guy.
right.
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, I don't. All I'm saying is, like, if you, I don't know, there's something about the act of it, and also the kind of band they were when they were here, which was this. Kurt Cobain was this tortured, poetic, drug-addled, sometimes angry soul who was just trying to make meaning out of everything, and life is this and that, and then to cap it all off, I think we just tend to romanticize it. Is all I'm getting at. And it's just
Maybe.
interesting to me. And so for me, I wondered yesterday, I thought, well, what if Kurt Cobain was still here? He'd be in his 40s, just like his buddy Dave. Would they be together? Would the Foo Fighters have happened anyway? Like, I went on this big what if.
What would the Courtney Love paradigm?
Sure,
right?
you're right. Throw her
You know,
in there. Courtney Hull, I know all about
Courtney
her.
Hull. Like,
Yeah.
what would there be a hole?
Well, she had Hull before him, right, or during him, or something. Wasn't Hull around for a while? I thought that was a during the relationship.
Maybe it was a during. I can't remember.
Courtney Love Hull. Let me look that up real quick here. Hull, the band. They formed in 1989.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
So
they were-
so well before.
Well before. They broke up in
before.
2002. They were reunited in 2009 and disbanded in 2012 again. So
Okay.
they had a break.
Hole resurfaced.
Yeah.
Hole closed up for a little while.
Yeah, but then Hole
reopened
Yeah.
in the early 2000s.
Exactly. Feeling very gross about
I don't
all
know.
this.
I mean, I think there's no way to know.
Yeah.
Because you can't at this point now. You can't separate the band from the legacy, the actions, the Kurt Cobain and what he did, how he went out. So,
Sure, and there's another way to look at it. Let's look at AC/DC as an example. They lose their lead singer to an overdose. Again, a tragic but very rock and roll romanticized thing that happens in that business, and people see it. I remember as a kid seeing that as like, whoa, this band is serious. Their lead singer died. There's something about it that actually kind of helps the mythos of the rock and roll teen thing. But they went on to be, by all accounts, at least by my account, a better band when they hired What's-His-Beak and kept going. Their best work was ahead of them. When what was his name? Not Bon Scott. What was his name?
it was Wasn't it Bon Scott?
I don't know.
Or John Bonham? No, not John Bonham.
Not John
That
Bonham.
was
He's the drummer guy
Zeppelin.
for Zeppelin. Yeah, I can't think of his name. Bon Scott. Is that it?
Bon Scott. Yeah,
I think that's
so.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he died, it was like, you know what? We still have way more cool stuff to do, and they did. So he breaks my whole theory.
No,
Or
Brian Johnson is their current lead singer. Curtis.
Yeah. Brian Johnson sings now.
No Doubt, according to EDC, No Doubt lost their lead singer before Gwen Stefani, and it was with Gwen Stefani that the band.
Well, yeah, but they didn't have any kind of notoriety other than something local, right? They didn't have any.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. They were just like a local LA band until Gwen Stefani kind of propelled them into stardom.
Yeah, AC/DC was telling me that they had big balls long time before Brian Johnson joined the band. There you go. All right, well, moving on. We've been nominated again for some awards, and that's interesting. It's for the Podcast Academy, which is this new thing, new deal.
That's right. Yeah, this is basically a way, and I'm going to take credit for this because I should.
All right.
Back in 2019, back in 2007 or 8, I wanted to start up a different kind of podcast awards system that wasn't based on number of votes, wasn't based on how many people went to the website and clicked a link. It was based on the merits of the podcasts that were nominated. And I reached out to a bunch of people. I think I even reached out to you at that point. I reached out to Gary Leland and a bunch of the old guard, the Don and Drew and Michael Gohagen and Michael Butler from Rock and Roll Geek Show. And
did that include Keith and the girl?
I probably did reach out to them too. Yeah,
right.
Who knows?
Okay.
And the point was to have an alternative podcast awards that would go alongside of the regular podcast awards that would be more based on the merits and the quality of the programming. And about a year ago, Gary Leland, and nothing ever happened with that. I reached out to everybody. We said, yeah, we should do this. And then, like a lot of things that happen in this business, that, you focus on other things become more important. Getting shows out regularly, stuff like that. And it kind of fell by the wayside.
Sure.
About a year ago, Gary Leland, Podcast Pickle Gary Leland, and many, many other things, Pottertainment magazine, reached out and said, "Hey, we'd like to resurface this again, and with your permission, we'd like to go ahead and take the reins on this and make it happen." And I said, "Here you go, all yours." And I forwarded him all the stuff I'd written up about it, and said, here's the background, and here's kind of what I came up with about the process and things like that.
Sure.
And they worked on it. They turned it into something way bigger and better than my initial vision of it. And now it's been announced it's going to happen the weekend that we're doing Nerdtacular. And they're going to be down in Austin at the Podcast Academy. They're going to have their own podcast awards with their own wrestler hosting.
Yeah, everyone gets a wrestler every time. That's how you do
That's
it.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as you mentioned, we're nominated for a bunch of stuff like The Instance, Coverville, this show you're listening to right here, The Morning Stream, Film Sack. Tom's nominated for DTNS.
Yep.
I didn't look to see if did we look at the let's see, podcastmovement.com. No, where is it? It was
Who are you looking
podcast. I was going to see is Schwoody and Jury
No, they're
nominated
not
for anything?
No, they're not in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Then I called foul.
Well, they should be. Yeah, it's interesting because this isn't the kind. We can't tell you listeners run out and vote everybody because it doesn't work that way. It's done through a kind of more like an academy system. I think it's a little bit weird that they're gonna determine everybody's winnership by 5-minute clips of shows. But that being said, because I do think that is a little weird, we're going to ask you to help us with that.
Yes.
If you need to tell us what you think the best 5 minutes of this show has been, all 800 plus episodes of it.
No. Just over the last year.
Okay.
And I'd even say like, if there was a moment, and again, this would be a great thing for the Facebook group, the Tadpool group on Facebook, because I think that's a good location for it.
Sure.
But anytime in the last few months that there was like a few minutes where you're thinking, oh my God, this is the reason I listened to TMS, or this is the reason I listened to The Instance or Film Sack or Coverville.
All the shows.
All those shows.
Yeah.
If you have a moment like that you're thinking, oh my God, this would be the great one that I'd want them to listen to, then so what you're saying when Brian vomited on screen.
Yeah.
Then let's start then please somebody start a Facebook post about this. It would help us out tremendously, because I don't know if we're qualified to say, oh, this was a great 5 minutes of our show. Whereas you're the listeners, you're the people who enjoy all this stuff. So let's get your help in saying, what were the 5 minutes you enjoyed the most?
Yeah, and we need to know what episode you found it in of each of the shows that you may think you found it in, and then let us know in that post. We'll go zero that stuff out and send it off to them, because they need this to do the judging.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I agree 5 minutes is difficult, but here's the deal. I'm one of the judges too, not in our categories, obviously, because that would be unfair. But that means that I've got to listen to, for each category, I've got to listen to 50 minutes of podcasts to kind of say, okay, sound quality is really good. The hosts are intelligently getting across the message that they want to get across, things like that. So that's the way it basically that it's going to be done.
That'll be fun.
And I've got 3 categories, so that means almost 3 hours worth of listening that I've got to do, and then there's several.
Well, I am sure that during that process you will find some winners. I think it's just a tricky way to do it, and I don't know how else they do it. This is my whole thing. This isn't. I'm not saying they've picked a bad way. I think it's the only way. There's no other way to do this unless everyone's listening to all the shows all the time. But because this is because we're talking about a medium that features a billion categories, genres, and focuses and voices, it's an undertaking that I would never do. So hats off to them for trying. I think it's good. It's just a lot. I mean, think about it. Right. The whole point of podcasting is it's this democratization of a medium that is so far wide and spread that anybody from my son to Gandhi, if he were still with us, could make a show. And everything in between, and you've got to somehow categorize all that and then figure out who's the top of the walk and who the best people are. And I don't know, it's just really daunting, but let's see how it goes. So
people already, there seems to be a very prominent segment that I think
I'm not doing the hospital bum scope one.
Colonoscopy
nope.
clip.
That can't be it. That's not our.
I think if you include enough of the background before it, right, saying here's what happened, and I let my wife record me coming out of this, and da da da.
All right, hey, I'm not here to tell them what they should do, but if that's the one you guys pick, that's what we're sending. We're sending whatever you pick. Just keep that in mind. That whatever it is, it's going in. All right. More on that as we do it, but we need it quick, like by tomorrow or something, right?
Yeah. So could someone please start the Facebook post right away? I'll jump in there. And if you've got, again, not just segments for this show, but also parts of Coverville, like, if there's a chunk of Coverville where I've talked about a song and given you really good background on like why that cover is what it is and how it came to be, stuff like that, that would be great. I look back and it's like I see this wall of songs that I've played, and so I've got to find clips in there that that exemplify the trivia and stuff that I put in between shows. Film Sack, I think we could have some really good fun with Film Sack. There's some great discussions that went on in that show.
Yeah, just find us 5 minutes, everybody. Coverville, The Instance, Film Sack, TMS. Boom. Your job is ahead of you. Go for it.
That's right.
We need your help. All right, we have a big sack winner.
A big sack winner?
Tell me who the sack winner is.
Chicken dinner. It is Felicia Hollenbeck. She ain't no Hollenbeck girl.
Nope. I like
so
that.
She is getting, so here's the deal with the Super Sack. We've got our patrons, right, on Patreon who are awesome and they support the show. Yeah. Every month, we're just going to pick somebody at random who is, what is it? It's Stream Sack level or higher. Is that right?
I think so. Yep.
And you're already getting, with the Stream Sack, you're already getting a bunch of great stuff in there, right? Like a mishmash of stuff from Scott, some music picks from me sometimes, some these are going to be coming in a future one right here. This thing I'm holding up here, which is a Coverville 3D printed out of my own 3D printer logo, and there's going to be other logos for other Frog Pants shows. you already get a bunch of stuff like that already in the stream sacks. Every month we're going to be picking, or at least this month, I think we're going to continue doing this. We're going to be picking somebody at random and then giving them a super sack, which has a bunch of extra stuff. And what you got to do is you've got to tweet it. What's the hashtag? There was a hashtag.
Oh, was it patron TMS? What was it? Crap. TMS patron?
TMS patron, is that it?
I think that's it. Let me make sure. I can tell you real quick.
This will be really good to
TMS patron. Yeah, TMS patron. Hashtag TMS patron is what you want to use.
Hashtag TMS patron.
Yep.
So if you hashtag that, then you will win, or then you will be entered in the drawing to win a super sack. And Felicia, congratulations. Here's what we'd love for you to do is when you get it, open it all up, spread it all over a table, take a picture of it, and throw it back in Twitter so people can see all the cool stuff that you got as part of that.
I like it.
So again, hashtag TMS patron, and we'd love to give out more of these.
Good job, Felicia Hollenbeck. I have a mashup to play from Freakish Lemon.
Yay!
He has returned.
Hey, that's right. It's been a while. Holy mackerel.
It's been too long there, Freakish Lemon. We've missed you. He says he's been very busy, but he wanted to do some more. He's doing episodes, check this out, 392 to 406. That was a long time ago.
It's almost, we've done as many episodes since then.
Yeah, as we had then. And he's going, but he's not jumping ahead. He is strictly working his way back through these old episodes. So
I love that because it's so weird to hear these things 400 episodes ago and try and figure out what the hell we were talking about.
Completely agree. So I'm going to play one for you now. Check it out. Here it is. Today on a regular... Start that over. I'm not a huge fan of smooth nuts. And then I played a video game till too late. And I sat in my sweaty filth while I did it. And I do a 45-minute hard one or something. I was trying to get it up.
3 lucky winners win Frog Pan's Prince.
Now, I'm not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing or any of that. I am just simply saying I'd taste your brownie. I come to Risa to wash my vache. Like the testicles of the neck. Every hour that pasted, I was verging on the spectacular. Oh, yes. In the 12th century, nothing could beat a night of good bukkake.
I'm good. I don't have balls in my neck or anything.
And recoiled as if there was a dead dolphin in the bed. Brian Ibbett is yakking in a dumpster. Against the liquid. Let's start that again. Against the wickedly. So you're telling me they're going to bet on how many shits I drop in a day.
Mine's so short compared to... Oh, boy. Mine's so short compared to Tom Merritt's.
I like it. Let's just send that in. That's fine.
No, it's out of context and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, kind of like all those awards are going to be. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be impossible. It's like saying, hey, Movie Academy, everybody watch 30 seconds of the movies that came out this year and pick a winner.
Right,
that's how it's going to be.
Exactly. That is what makes it tough. But again, consider the people who watch the Oscars, right?
Yeah.
The television viewing public who only see sometimes a couple, a few seconds of each of these movies and then say, oh, that looks good. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a good point, I guess.
It's hard. It is. It would be a monumental task to listen to full episodes of these shows. And even then, listening to one of our episodes, there's referential stuff that we do all the time that we do try and explain, but that carries back to comedy that we unleashed on the world episodes before.
Yeah, months before. Sometimes we say things that seem like horribly offensive that aren't, because you guys know what we were talking about in reference to it before. Like it's a daunting task.
I think it has to center around one of your stories, around Mendoza, or it has to be, something where you're recounting the story of the poo bag on the face.
The poo bag lady. Come on, put that one on the list, you guys. That one's pretty funny. We're in the comedy category, so that one seems like it should be all right.
Yes.
All right.
Sounds like we're in a budget meeting.
It's a very important meeting happening. It is Stump and Trek Nerd, brought to you by
School is hard, and sometimes our kids have a difficult time keeping up with the rest of their class. We know just how hard it can be to find the time and energy to offer your own knowledge to your kids, so why not let us help provide you with some new tools? With our self-guided online reading strategy games, theliteracytutor.com is here to not just maintain, but improve your child's English literacy skills. The Literacy Tutor improves literacy skills for at-risk, at-level, and advanced students, as well as those with teaching disabilities using the latest technology. Check us out at theliteracytutor.com today. And remember, if you can read, you can do anything.
Oh, man. Very nice. Also, I love this background talking. What is happening over there? Tell us what's going on. Some kind of important thing?
It's Louise's birthday. We're going to get together and talk about what a great job she's done as our comptroller.
You guys, the comptroller's in the kitchen. We're doing donuts if you want any. Oh, I don't miss it. I don't miss office life. I really don't. Daryl, good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, I guess.
So it's going well then. Great.
Yeah.
Hey, good news. Next week, guess what? Daryl gets the whole week off. Why? Because we're doing something special and weird all week long. Well, you're not off. I mean, you don't have to. I don't mean you're not going to be here. You're going to be here. But Iceworm gets to take the week off. Corinne is calling in every day with Doctor Who questions.
Oh, no. Really?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Wait, are we going to ask her Doctor Who questions?
She is going to ask us Doctor Who questions.
You haven't seen a single episode.
I have seen a single episode at least a single episode.
Is she going to be asking questions about that episode?
I don't know. I don't know what her plan is, but she says it'll be fun, and she's got a really cool idea, so we're going to bring her in. We're going to do a little Who week with the three of us. None of us have to be experts, I'm assured, she's told me.
The answer is C, timey-wimey.
Tom Baker. The answer is Tom Baker every time.
The answer is Tom Baker's scarf.
Exactly. So we don't know, but Tom Baker's scarf week starts next week. It'll be fun. We'll give Iceworm a little breather on his question making and do something a little different. So next week, look forward to that.
Nice.
All right, Daryl, it's
that's 50 years of stuff there.
It is a lot. I have no idea what she's going to do, but I'm kind of stoked about it.
That'll be fun.
I do like these Alterna weeks of Stump a blah, blah, blah nerd. I love it.
Stump a hoo-ha nerd. And if I'm getting any of this wrong, she'll send us a text shortly telling me I'm
I'll
stupid.
probably get a picture of a frowny face on my watch.
Yeah, then send her a wiener and say it's a sword. Do that.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that right now anyway.
Okay, here's the dealio. Daryl's a Trek nerd. He comes on the show, does Star Trek questions. I got one here based on a clip. And so you're going to hear this clip, and then you're going to have to tell us where you think it came from. All right? Second one of these this week. So here it is. Here you go.
Lieutenant, you are a member of this crew, and you will not go into hiding whenever a Klingon vessel uncloaks.
All right, that was the closest he's ever done to Brian's version of Picard.
Here we go.
Angry Picard. Nice. All right, so Daryl, that's your clip there. Your options are A, Sins of the Father, B, The Chase, C, The High Ground, or D, Reunion. That's Sins of the Father, The Chase, The High Ground, or Reunion. Think on that, won't you? But while you think about it, I'm excited because there's some food on its way to us that's weird. Real weird.
Yes.
Sauerkraut chip things.
Yeah, how are you on sauerkraut, Daryl?
I'm not a fan of horseradish or radishes, but I like horses.
Oh, okay, great. What does that have to do with sauerkraut? Is sauerkraut
nothing to do with sauerkraut? That's not at all.
Wasn't that
asked.
a horse? Oh,
Please
it's
step
not the
down.
horseradish thing?
No.
It is the horseradish thing, but it's sauerkraut chips with horseradish and cheddar flavor.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there were any of the horse or the horse stuff in there.
Yeah, horse hooey.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. Well, I'll try it.
Did I ever tell you guys about the time? Did I ever tell you about the time?
This one time at band camp
when I was at an Arby's, and they had the horsey sauce packets. So they had it in the bottles. You could squirt it out on your thing, but they also had the little packets.
Squirt it out on what thing? What are you talking about?
Well,
on your junior.
Your junior, your unit. And I would
I'm not helping, am I?
Carl's Jr. Anyway, I would take we'd take those and we would open those and then we would, squirt them on our stuff or whatever. And, gosh dang it. Sorry. I hit the keys. So I remember this one time I was there with a girl. I don't know why I took her to Arby's. I'm the worst date ever. Okay. I suck. But we're at Arby's and I had the horsey sauce out and I couldn't get this thing to open for the life of me. It wouldn't pop. It just was like, gosh dang it, freaking burger. I couldn't get it to go. And so I'm biting on it and I'm pulling on it. And finally, and I'm kind of talking to her, and she's laughing. She goes, "Oh, that thing's hard to do everything, but whatever." And I finally get that thing open, and I pull it apart with such force that the near entire contents of the thing projectile vomited itself across the table all over this girl. All over her face and her shirt and her food and her hands and and the table. It was bad. Yeah, that girl never forgave me. Anyway.
Got a little horsey sauce on you there, Margie.
All right, Daryl, let's do this. This is a chance for you to tell us about something that happened in Star Trek history. Go.
Okay, well, let's see. This is a pretty dumb one. In 1985, on this very day, a design patent for a duty uniform is issued, and I have no idea what
uniform.
that means. No idea what that means.
Is that what Wesley wore?
85, that would have been like those weird... Scotty had all his people in those weird little white uniforms in engineering. It's probably like that.
Right.
One of those guys or
They
something.
looked like
that was 70s.
really skinny astronaut uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah, and remember the one that looked like John Boy from the Waltons? Remember when he died?
No, that was the 70s, or the 1980.
Well, what'd you say?
79.
What'd you say? You
1985.
85.
Oh, 85. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Do you
what
have
that
a
would be
picture
for.
of said duty uniform?
No.
Here.
It's just all I have is that text.
We have Google. Let's try this. Google.
1985 Star Trek duty uniform.
Hold on. I'm going to try something funny here.
All right.
Pronounce... Oh, I have to enable this. Okay. Pronounce Brian Ibbett. Oh, it didn't do it. And it said Brian Abbott. Your name is cursed.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, I was trying to do a search there, and for some
Was that
reason...
Alexa or was that Siri?
That's OK Google on the... Oh, it started with me just saying it. Okay, stop.
That's what you're supposed to say. Okay, Google, pronounce Brian.
Damn it! It's gonna do it every time now. Hold on. You started that. Say that again. Say the words.
Okay, Google, pronounce Brian Ibbett. It's not doing it.
Why won't it stop? It says pronounce Brian Tippett. That's amazing. All right, for real, let's do one that says, okay, Google, pronounce penis. Why won't it do it? It's supposed to do the anyway. This has nothing to do with what we were looking at.
But if you're saying it, aren't you pronouncing it?
Yeah, I guess I am. Okay, you make a good point. All right, that's not the point. What was the point? The point was I was looking up the stupid
Duty
suit.
1985 duty uniform.
Uniform Star Trek. All right, here we go. Images. All right. And,
I see it right there.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's Oh, that's interesting. But how do we know that's from the right year, though? Huh.
Because Google says it is so.
All right, fine. Who knows? I can't figure it out. This would have been the era of like post whale movie, on your way to search for Spock, or no, on your way for what's the fourth one?
Yeah, it was the Voyage Home.
Voyage Home. Let's see, Voyage Home. That was 4, right? So it was between 4 and 5, somewhere between 4 and.
Here's I found it exactly. Do you have the one that has figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, figure 4?
No. Post in the chat. Let's see it.
All right.
Stick that in there. Chat room, check it out.
Putting in there right now.
Okay.
I can't see it.
Oh, sorry, Daryl. Here, we'll put it in Skype for you.
It's the U.S. patent for June 11th, 1985.
Oh, wow.
Actually says June 11th, 1985.
And it's that whole, it's that formal, it's that Kirkware that they had in that period. Wow, look at that. That's cool art.
Never cared for how they tucked their pant legs into their boots.
Me neither. With a little bell hanger thing down there at the bottom, that's stupid. They need to peg that shit. Hey, have you noticed the kids today? Sorry, this is another offshoot.
Kids today, have you noticed?
The kids today are all into the peg in the pants again. It's like 1986 all over again, man.
Pegging the pants?
Yeah, they're pegging them. They're like making them all tight toward the bottom. They have little bands they put on the end of their pants now, and they wear like usually Chuck Taylors are on, but then the pants are just like they're kind of baggy up top and low cut on the butt, and then they go down to a peg again, like a little tight peg.
Huh.
Didn't you do that in the 80s with the peg?
I didn't do that. No,
I did. I had peg.
You mean
pants.
like kind of like if they had bicycle clips on there to keep their pant legs from
Nailed it.
chain?
Yes. Imagine 2 of those though, on both legs.
Well, yeah. Okay.
So we would artificially, when we were younger, we would artificially peg our pants. This is a pegging of using other devices. So I'll give you an example here. Here, chat room. Check this out. Check this out right here. That is how we and others pegged our pants in the 80s.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess I do remember that. I've never heard it called pants pegging, though.
Never heard the pegging? Yeah, we had the pegging means something very different now, and I won't
rolling
tell
up the
people what
cuff.
that means.
Yeah, I'd peg that.
Yeah. Daryl, let's get to the point here, which is the question. And the question was, what episode did that clip come from? Was it Sins of the Father, The Chase, The High Ground, or Reunion? Do you need the clip again?
Oh, why not?
All right.
Lieutenant, you are a member of this crew, and you will not go into hiding whenever a Klingon vessel uncloaks.
Who would freak out if there was a... What
Duh,
lieutenant?
it would have to be Barkley.
Oh, it'd have to be Barkley, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Oh, what would this be then? Sins... Oh, that's that stupid Klingon one. Oh, wait, but that's got Klingons.
Yeah. Chat room, I only know what the modern version of pegging is because somebody sent me a horrible thing on an email once, so just it's fine. I'm not
just go search that in the Urban Dictionary and you'll find out what
you'll
it is.
know exactly what, and I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it, but do if you want to. All right, anyway, what?
Also look up swaffle.
What, swaffle? I'm gonna do that. What is that?
I'm not gonna say it on the air.
I'm gonna find it.
I'm not doing it at work.
What? There's a word for everything, dude. The worst part is that it says can result in eye injury. That's the worst part.
What?
Don't look it up, Daryl.
Yeah.
You'll
Look it up when you get home and then clear your history.
The third definition is maybe my favorite because it has a parentheses, this is very important part. Which none of this is important. Anyway, sorry, Daryl. You were deliberating and we went down.
No, I want to know this stuff.
No, don't know it. You don't want to know it.
I can't know it. Okay. I have no idea.
They probably blocked the Urban Dictionary at your office.
Oh, they probably have.
Yeah. Can't imagine that's an okay deal.
It's because of Janice in the accounting department. Was hooked on it for a while.
Yeah.
Oh God, Warren, where'd you find?
What? How does that exist?
Is that a bumper sticker?
I thought I knew everything. I don't know anything. I'd never heard of swaffle. Just when you think you've figured most things out,
yeah,
someone pops in with a new thing. Literally.
Okay, I'm looking this up. I'm gonna just stop in the middle of this.
Incognito mode.
Yeah.
I'm doing this on the phone. Nah, that's gonna interrupt my other thing. Okay, forget that.
Forget about it. Just you'll live. You can do it after.
Okay.
I still don't recommend it, but yeah.
In the high ground, I have no idea. It's gonna be a bad week. I've put a dot by the chase. Is that what it is? The chase?
Mm-hmm. The chase.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you were being chased, you would hide. And since that guy's hiding, he must be chased.
Okay.
None of the others make
That would
any
make sense, wouldn't it? Sure.
So I'll pick that, and I'll be wrong, and I'll hear the and then I'll hang up.
All right, let's find out if that happens. Don't hang up yet. The Enterprise encourages the Klingon ship. On this ship is Worf's girlfriend, Kahira. She asks Picard if she can come aboard. Worf is asked to go to the transporter room to meet her. He asks Picard if they can send somebody else, and Picard refuses. I guess he was chewing out Worf. Seems a little weird. There you go. Daryl failed the entire week. Not one question right.
What was the answer again?
It was reunion. Reunion.
Oh, okay.
D.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say, did I?
So
One
Worf
of those
is always
dumb
hiding
Klingon
out.
ones.
Yeah, exactly.
There you have it. Daryl's the Trek Nerd on Twitter. You can find him at This Week in Trek at thisweekinttrek.com and the Grumpy Cast. And now he'll...
and Grumpy Cast is going to be live today at 5 o'clock Pacific time on Alpha Geek Radio.
Whoa.
For the first time ever.
Whoa. Get in line now, you guys. Bring a tent and some board games. Seriously, it's coming tonight. 5 o'clock. Be there. Wait, I got a theme.
Help, it's happening.
I got music to celebrate. All right. Congratulations. All right, now play your game.
Okay. I used up one of my ones for this week, last week, I guess. I'm one short, so I thought up a new one. Star Trek logos or actual NASA logos?
Star Trek logos or actual NASA
Sounds
logos?
visual, but okay.
All right.
The worm and the meatball.
The worm and the meatball.
Wait. So, Star Trek logos or actual logos?
Yeah.
Are these your interpretations of those logos?
No, these are official names for either Star Trek logos or NASA logos.
Okay, gotcha. NASA logos, that's right. So, because like the Coke logo is called the dynamic ribbon device.
Oh,
That's the official term for it. So,
okay. Really, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah,
I had no idea. I'm gonna guess it's NASA because there's no way. There's no way this isn't. It's too outrageous. He's trying to fool us.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think it's something like, I'm trying to imagine, like I have a friend at NASA and he's always joking about the internal words they use for things, and they're very goofy about stuff. That seems like something they'd be goofy about.
And they'd be goofy about it, but it would be like the sun and a rocket ship swirl around it or something like that, and they're going to call it the worm and the meatball. I agree. I say NASA.
All right, NASA. How'd we do?
Okay, the meatball is the original NASA logo from 1959, and the worm is the one that looks kind of like it's made out of a worm from 1975 to 1992.
So we're right then, is what you're telling us.
Yes.
See you, Daryl. Just got a text from Wendy. Let's see what she says. Oops. Hold on a moment. Just wanted to
meatball stuck in the router. And,
make sure everything's okay. Oh, she says, can we keep the call to 20 to 25 minutes today? Got to run Allie to a thing. Nice. I'll say yes. I'm sure we can. Oh, we better hurry then.
Yeah.
Here's this.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
News brought to you by
Diary of a Cartoonist at frogpants.com/diary.
Put up a new one yesterday. It's about sticking by your children. So you guys should check it out if you're into such things. Chris Hemsworth has joined Paul.
That guy.
Yeah, you know that guy, right? He's Thor.
He's all right looking, I guess.
Yeah, he's a good looking man.
If you don't, if you catch him in the right light, I guess he's not offensive to your eyes.
I wouldn't call him ugly. Thor is joining Paul Feig's Ghostbusters as the receptionist. They're going all out here. They've switched all the women for men and all the men for women. For some reason. I'm actually kind of into it, though, because Feig is kind of killing it lately. This spy movie looks really funny.
Yeah.
And he's behind that as well. So, yeah, I don't know.
And Hemsworth looks like he's going to be pretty funny in the Vacation movie as well.
Yeah. I still can't tell how I want to feel about that yet. I don't know yet. I don't know. I guess we have to see what that thing is. But
we have to see.
Something about it screams to me either this is going to be really funny or this will be an abomination. I can't tell which.
Yeah, I mean, if you base it on some of the clips, in the trailer, kind of funny. If you base it on the clip where they're in the toxic waste swamp thing,
I think I would know if I was entering a pool full of human waste.
I think so too. Yeah,
I think that wouldn't be a problem. But then again, see, it was more subtle in the old days. Chevy Chase had his sandwich peed on, but he didn't know. Remember? That was a thing.
And the cop coming up to the car and said, that little guy tried to keep up with you for a mile or so. And
just go watch the original Vacation. Let's see. Wicket the Ewok might be returning to Star Wars and The Force Awakens. Not much to say about that, except there's some stuff floating around that may be happening.
He's going to lead an armada of Ewoks.
I hope not.
No, I hope not.
This would probably mandate a visit to the planet there. I assume that he's not going to show up on a ship and go, Houdini, and then run away.
No, you never know. I mean, they could do something like they had the Jedi, or not the Jedi Council, but you remember the big council.
Hologram council, yeah.
Right, exactly. And you could have him now being an ambassador to Endor or something.
My lord. Let's hope not.
I know. There's no way you can figure this, work it in that doesn't sound as lame as hell.
Yeah, it needs to be cameo in the background. It can't be something important. Although that little guy with Lando, put him in. I'm all for that. That little guy. Love that guy.
Yeah.
A man died after eating a tablet computer.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, police responded Sunday to reports of a man throwing items out of a window in St. Petersburg, Russia. Upon their arrival, they began eating pieces of glass, or he began eating pieces of glass and other smashed up components to avoid detection. Moscow Times reports the investigation is underway. The policeman who was injured while trying to stop the man from eating his tablet called an ambulance to the scene, but the man lost consciousness and died before it arrived.
Oh, that's horrible.
Don't eat a tablet.
Don't eat broken pieces of glass.
Yeah,
Jeez,
that's
Louise.
insane to me, what you've done there. Don't do that, man. Today's episode brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace.com is the place to go. Listen, if you want to make a great website that's all about your love of Ewoks, well, damn it, they exist, and they're here, and they're ready for you now. All the tools to make it great on mobile, all the stuff you need to sell things, register a domain, build out the kind of site you want. My daughter's photo site looks amazing. I love that she used Squarespace for that, and you'll love using it too. Get a free trial now with no credit card required, and if you decide to stay, use that code MORNING, MORNING, for 10% off. That's morning at squarespace.com for 10% off. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Wendy will be here. We got a quick call from her today, and good fun there. Before all that, though, Brian, play us some song.
Yes, so every once in a while, I'll stray from our list, our massive list of requests, and play something that that's appropriate or that, you know, just needs some exposure. Today, we're going to celebrate and pay tribute to a great actor that we lost yesterday. Christopher Lee passed away. Again, you know, Saruman from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Count Dooku from the prequels. He was a great Dracula.
Yep.
I want to say that he was in was he in House of Wax with Vincent Price, or am I thinking of something else?
I think he was also in the new Willy Wonka reboot.
Oh, right. He was Willy Wonka's dad. Yes.
Great
right.
in that role.
Scaramanga, the guy with 3 nipples from The Man with the Golden Gun.
Yep. Love him. That's right. He had 3 nipples.
He did have 3 nipples.
Yeah.
He was in Return from Witch Mountain, one of those great movies from my childhood. Captain America 2, Death Too Soon from 1979. Really?
Yep.
Hadn't heard about that.
We need to film sack that business.
We do need to, absolutely. Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf. Oh, man. I think maybe we're going the wrong direction. Gremlins 2, The New Batch. There you go.
There you go.
He was the doctor whose formula gave us that super intelligent gremlin.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, we'll go out on that one because that's a good one to
Sure.
good one to go out on.
Good exit point.
Anyway, great, hugely talented actor, but also a little bit of a musician, or a little bit of a singer anyway. He's released 4 albums, 3 EPs. Christopher Lee sings Devils, Rogues, and Other Villains, Revelation in 2006, Charlemagne by the Sword and the Cross in 2010, and Charlemagne, The Omens of Death in 2013. And it's from an EP called Metal Knight that we pull this one, originally done by Richard Kiley and with some actual Don Quixote dialogue in the beginning of it. Here is Christopher Lee and The Impossible Dream.
Why do you do these things?
What things?
These ridiculous. The things you do.
I hope to add some measure of grace to the world.
The world's a dung heap, and we are maggots that crawl on it.
My lady knows better in her heart.
What's in my heart will get me halfway to hell. And you, Senor Don Quixote, you're going to take such a beating.
Whether I win or lose does not matter.
What does?
Only that I follow the quest.
That for your quest. What does that mean? Quest.
It is the mission of each true knight. His duty. Nay, his privilege. To dream the impossible dream. To fight the unbeatable foe. To bear with unbearable sorrow. To run where the brave dare not go. To right the unrightable wrong. To love pure and chaste from afar. To try when your arms are too weary. To reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter This is my quest to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest, and the world will be better for this. That's one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his lance ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America's asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all. On a highway or a road along a levee, performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA. See it in your Chevrolet.
Well, is his first name Roy? His initials are RT.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen. This is the morning stream.
All right, we're back. Christopher Lee belting it out like a champ, like a bomb.
Like a boss, man.
He is like a boss man.
He's going totally buck wild on that song.
Yeah. All right, we got Wendy.
Could you tell I've been watching too much?
Sorry.
Oh, we starting over?
Jeez,
All right.
what the heck?
Been watching too much solo travel blog.
Oh, how?
This
Oh,
sushi
yeah.
is buck wild.
There's a lot of it, right? There's like a ton of it.
There is a ton of it.
More than you'd think.
Yeah.
I found that really entertaining.
I did too.
All right, Wendy, we're calling you. That means you should be picking up. You there, I'll say? Calling. I know she's in a hurry, so I'm going to get her as quick as we can get her.
Probably gonna have a recommendal after this is all over.
Do we know?
Or an unrecommendal, maybe.
Oh, who's that from?
No, from me, from a movie I watched last night that I think I'd recommend people don't watch.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm very... Look at this big teaser dropped. I can't wait to hear what that is. I saw something, or part of something, I'm not done with it yet. It's a kind of workout time thing I'm watching, but that I'm already ready to recommend. So when you tell me what not to watch, I'll tell you what to watch.
Cool.
And together, we will rule the world. All right. Try her again. Sometimes it takes 2 times.
Time's up, man. She's
She's lost her
she
chance.
gave us her 20 minutes and we played Christopher Lee.
That's right. That's a good point. I'm going to save real quick because why not?
Hello.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Hi, what hey. How are you? What's going on? Hello?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. That seems bad. Could be one of those days. I'm gonna save what we did here. Hold on.
Sure.
Why not? May as well.
It's my impersonation of Skype, by the way.
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
All right, let's compare it. I got some real ones of that. Hold on. Let's see here. Skype. Here's one. Yeah, there's Wendy. Right? That's pretty good.
That was very good, yeah.
Here's this one. Oh, hi. Hello? Are you there?
Oh, gosh. Was that me again?
No, it wasn't
No,
you.
that
That was
was
somebody else. Hi, you're there.
Hi, I'm here.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
Sorry about that.
How are you? You've got a thing to go to. We feel bad that we don't want to make you late.
No worries.
Mother's job is never done.
Ugh, yeah.
Well, it's good to have you here. We haven't had you in a couple weeks because last week we had a thing and I couldn't come. But here you are now, and it's good to have you back. I hope everything's well with you.
Yeah. Good.
Very good. Wendy, let's give you a question. You ready for this thing?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Wendy's a therapist, by the way. She comes on the show and she talks about people's real problems. She takes your questions, and she's my sister for all intents and purposes. So here is
Really?
here's your question. This is from, and you'll all see her, by the way, in about how many weeks? 5 weeks?
50 days.
50 days, I meant to say.
50 days.
It's coming
Whoa.
quick. Yeah. Here's your question. Hello, says this person who says, my name is, I'm going to say Paul because they didn't say for sure to use their name, but I'll just say Paul.
Okay.
I'm 22 and dating. I started to notice that as I've gotten older, there are more and more women I've come across that are single mothers. That's weird at 22, I think. But anyway, my question is this. If I date a girl with a kid, how should I treat the child? I'm afraid of messing the kid up by becoming a part of their life and them seeing me as a father figure and them having to break off the relationship. I'm mostly concerned with ones that are whose actual father is missing. Thanks. I think they're all kind of, maybe he means the ones that have left and don't want anything to do with the kid or something.
Yeah,
like
not
that.
ones that have been kidnapped and are missing.
Right.
Father's missing. Yes, it's time to date again.
It's funny because it feels like he's mostly concerned with the ones that he will have the best chance of having a positive impact on because there's no father figure in their lives.
Right.
Am I wrong to assume that?
Right. He's doesn't want to hurt anybody. Is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Admirable. Very admirable.
What do you do? What do you think? What do you think?
Wow. There's an important person in this equation, and that is the woman. Meaning, in some ways, he can just follow her lead. And there's also a nice little litmus test he can do when he's dating someone and they say, oh, I have a kid. And he's like, oh, how old are they? Okay, great. Is the father missing or is the father, involved or whatever? You get to know these facts typically before you ever meet the child. It would be important to find out her feelings about this topic because it's not actually his responsibility. It's hers. Unfortunately, she has a lot of responsibilities. And this is another one of them, which is determining she knows her own child. She knows the situation. She could be making really dumb choices. So this is where he comes in. So he finds out from her how she sees it. And any woman who is sort of really enamored with her child really wants to protect it and make sure that kid doesn't get hurt again is going to move very slowly with you meeting the child. So if she does anything other than that, like, hey, I know tomorrow's our second date. Is it okay if I bring my kid? Then you need to go, okay,
Red
well,
flag.
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Meaning she probably introduces him to the child to lots of people. Maybe she's, happy to keep it platonic, like all these people are friends or, whatever. And that's possible, but you need to find out. If this is what she does with every guy she dates, this kid has probably seen a lot of men come and go. And you don't just want to be another person. Right. But in the end, the responsibility is the mom's, and she's going to kind of lead this. So follow her lead, but sort of cautionary measures would be to wait until you're pretty darn serious before you really introduce yourself to a kid and, it's going somewhere. You think about their perspective. If people are coming and going, that's problematic. But if one person comes and you're not, and you break up, that can be pretty tricky too. So
it does seem like that's the story you hear about most, right? Is that the mom doesn't even introduce the person that she's dating to her children until, several weeks into the relationship, until she's, really sure that, that this is somebody who's going to have some longevity.
Right. And even if you don't think, okay, I need a ring on my finger, it doesn't have to be, I'm ready to marry this person, but you have to be pretty confident it has some legs, and it's not just convenience. Because I think there's so Adam's been out of town for 2 weeks. He's still out of town, which is why I have to leave and drive someone somewhere. And I will tell you, there is nothing. I almost want to hire a husband. Can I borrow someone? And I can only imagine if you are a full-time single mother, how tempting that would be to have this nice guy you've started dating get involved. And she also wants to see how you are with kids. She wants to see if you're, dad material. So she's testing you as well. But, it's so hard to know when the right timing is. And every kid's going to be different. They're going to respond differently. You never know. And if a kid thinks, oh, it's just my mom's friend, he's going to act comfortable and normal. But if he thinks this is who my mom's dating, you might have a totally different reaction. So it really needs to be between you and your date and your girlfriend. Like, when is appropriate? What's good for the kid? And then share your concerns, because this is important to you as well. She should really drive the decision, but if she says, "Yeah, you can meet him on the third date," and you're not comfortable with that, you need to say that. Say, "Hey, that's a little fast." It would be interesting to know what his background is. Was he a child of divorce or had friends in that situation? Has he heard stories? Is this just because he's in tune with what fatherless children are going through? I don't know, but maybe he's really keenly aware of it and wants to be careful. So he needs to know his opinion really matters too. And it sounds like he has the right heart about it.
Yeah, I mean, just even asking the question here shows that to us. Oftentimes, all these questions we get are sometimes the best sign, because it means people are genuinely concerned about
that. They're actually thinking about it and saying, all right,
Sure.
what is the problem? What are the ramifications if I do this?
Here's the funny bit. So if movies have taught me anything, it's that the stereotype is that stepdads are the worst, right?
Yep.
And
because there's a movie called The Stepdad.
Exactly. But in real life, like actual life experience, people I've talked to who have stepfathers, Brian's one of them, things go fine. Generally they're good guys trying to do the right thing. And sure, there may be a period in young people's lives where they're rebelling, and that they do that anyway. It just happens to now be able to say, oh, well, it's because of my stepdad or whatever.
My dad. Yeah, exactly.
And I guess technically I have one now. It's not, I wasn't raised with him or by him.
Right.
But it's not that different. So, there's still those things like, well, he's not like my dad or whatever that you still deal with. But for the most part, I feel like this is a surmountable thing. And if you're serious about the girl you're with, it should work out. It should be fine. You don't have to do anything crazy or special. You just have to kind of be cool. And guess what? What if you end up with a kid who really relates to you? You just happen to be the kind of guy, or doing the kind of thing in your career or whatever. You like the kind of things he likes, and suddenly he's closer with you than he ever would have been, his deadbeat dad. That's possible.
Yeah, he's missing in action.
Yeah.
I think you also have the real risk of you start a relationship, it goes really well, things are great, you meet the kid, you get to bond, you really like the kid, and it doesn't work. And it's heartbreak, it's loss, it's difficult for them and for you. You cannot protect everyone from that. But you can do it smart, sort of going in. And then if things kind of go south and you have to figure that out, I've seen that with a few couples I've worked with. It's just the relationship doesn't work. And so and almost every time, it's harder for them to say goodbye to the child or the dog that they bought together. I mean, it's, that is so much more difficult than ending the relationship, because they know the relationship is not good for them and they want to move on. But there is this innocent factor that's really difficult. And it's a calculated risk. It's difficult, but that's also why there's such great reward, is you do have to risk. Timing probably is everything, and you have to kind of figure out what that is, and then how the kid responds. There's going to be some kids. I'm trying to think, okay, if I brought a guy home after Adam was missing for 2 weeks, that would be pretty soon.
Right.
And I'm thinking, how would each of my children respond?
Right.
Very differently.
Sure.
Right. One would be like, okay, whatever. And the other one would freak out, and whatever. So you really need to just, what's the kid like? And she's obviously the expert. So again, kind of follow her lead. And then again, there's this nice little test. Let's see how she responds when, or, what does she do? Does she want you to meet the kid the next day? Because she just needs that kid to have a father? Okay, well,
statistically speaking, is he correct? Is he correct in his early assumption in the email that most of the women he sees or wants to date at age 22 are single moms already? Does that jive with data?
No. And we have less teenage pregnancy than I think we've had for 30 years. So I don't, and assuming teenage, meaning they're probably 20 at this point and have a child, they were probably teenagers.
Yeah.
Or I'm assuming it's not that everyone he dates, but he's probably running across it for maybe now. Like at 20, he wasn't running across it, but he is now.
It could also be that I don't know, maybe it's the circles you run. It's like when you buy a Honda minivan and suddenly you notice every other Honda minivan on the highway. And you're like, hi, suddenly everybody's got my car. And it's not really, it's a weird confirmation bias.
Right. Like the third woman who said, oh, I have a child. He's like, everyone's got a child. That's probably how it feels. And maybe he should stop going to the single mother bar. I don't know.
The mommy and me bar. Yeah.
The mommy and me swim group is where he's meeting all these women. So. Yeah. No, it seems young. It's not probable, but it seems like he's probably just entering, the next level of dating life, and there's people with more experience.
Well, and I'm glad he's not being biased about. There's probably a tendency in most young, virile 20-somethings who see a married or a woman who's got a child already and would just recoil at that idea. Right. He's entering it thinking, well, I want to do the right thing if I'm to end up with somebody who is that way. And that's, I don't know, that there's something kind of weirdly brave about that, because I don't know too many 20-somethings who would be anywhere near that.
Right. And maybe that's another reason he's attracting single moms, is that he seems like a good dad guy. I mean, that's what you're looking for. You're no longer looking for the one who's going to like take you on a motorcycle tour of the southern United States for 2 months. You're looking for someone who, I don't know, has a job.
He's not going to get kidnapped.
Is not going to be missing, and is going to, it's just sort of kind. And so it's a compliment, really.
Yeah. In a weird way, all the women with kids should be attracted to this guy because he's bringing the goods.
Yeah. At 22. So I think there's I'm going to twist this and make it sinister is not the right word, but I can't think of the right word. Right. Anyway, back to that attraction thing. It's really interesting when you're 22, you don't really know what your issues are yet that cause certain things. It's usually 32. You have to have some time for some stuff to happen for you to say, oh yeah, I kind of have a thing for blank, or why does this type of person keep finding me? Not to say he really has a single mother attraction thing, but something to think about for him is, we sort of put out vibes, right? I mean, think about someone you've met before and you've walked away. They've never said anything about A, B, or C, but you walked away with the vibe like, why do I think I know that about them? Or that's strange, because you felt like I got way more information than they actually shared. And that's because they're giving off a vibe. Or you get the vibe of, bitchy resting face. Someone just looks like they hate you, even though they don't. It can be something like that, body language, whatever. But we're not always so good at realizing what it is we do on our end of that interaction that maybe solicits the crazy to come and find me, or the desperate, or the, whatever it might be that comes calling. So not to say this guy, but it's interesting when you're 22 to, he started thinking pretty far ahead here, but to look at his own life and say, okay, is there anything sort of not good about what I'm bringing to the table? Am I a rescuer in a bad way? And just sort of ask yourself some of those questions. Doesn't mean he knows all the answers, but I guess I get excited about people looking at that before they're 40.
Yeah.
And then they have 20 years of the same crap happening over and over, and they're like, why does this happen? Well, if you kind of stop and pay attention as you're going along, I think you'd have some clues as to some things.
Yeah. Well, let's hope. Listener, hope this helps you. Let us know how things go for you. You seem like a nice guy, and a kid from a single mom would benefit greatly from a nice guy. That we know. Statistically, that is a thing. So good father figures, hard to come by. Wendy, go do your thing. Hope everything's well. And where is Adam? Is he in the States?
He's in California.
Oh, wow. Weird.
So let me just tell you.
Y'all should just move to California, I'm thinking.
I know. Oh, he hates it.
Yeah. I'll bet.
I mean, he likes the things he's doing there, but he called me the other day. He's like, I'm such a snob. I'm like, why? Because he's not a snob at all. I'm like, why? What happened? He's like, I went to Walmart.
Oh, wow. How did he stand it?
He goes, I just forgot. I forgot what it's like in there. I was like, you are a snob.
Yeah, that's a little. You got a little Swedish in you
humanity.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, and he'll be back soon, I guess. Soon,
Yeah,
hopefully.
he gets home Saturday. Oh, he gets home in smack dab in the middle of Potato Festival.
Potato Festival.
Really?
Wow.
Potato Festival.
The first potato ever brought to Sweden came to our town. That's where it started.
Was it an ambassador from the great state of Idaho, or how did it work? What was that
No,
Irish?
from Ireland, I believe. It was.
I've got your first potato here. Here you go. Was it like that?
Sweden was starving. They were unbelievably poor in the 1800s.
Yeah.
So 1 million Swedes immigrated to the States. So if you're in Minnesota, hey, all you Swedes.
Yeah.
And this keeps happening. This is so funny. I keep meeting people, and like my great grandparents are from Sweden, and they'll be like, "Oh, my great great grand uncle moved to America." I'm like, "Oh wow." And have you met them? They're like, "Yeah, we met once." I'm like, "Oh, how'd that go?" And they always have this face like, it was okay. And some people are like, "Oh, we're best friends. Everyone looks the same." It's like this really close, cool, reconnection.
Yeah.
And then someone else is like, "Oh, they love Fox News. They had a lot of guns." I was like, "Oh my gosh." And the guy's like, "Yeah, they were in Connecticut visiting this family, trying to connect with their ancestry people, whatever."
Yeah.
And they absolutely could not stand each other. It was so bad. And I think that's so funny. So anyway, I'm trying to find our ancestors, Scott. We've got a couple.
Do we?
We have a dad's dad, Farrell. Remember him?
Yeah, Farrell, yeah.
His parents were both born in Stockholm.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I'm going to go find some graves and dig them up.
He's he had the world's biggest, most bitchy resting face I ever remembered when I was growing up.
Yeah, I thought he hated me from every minute. Yeah.
He was a grouchy dude.
There's a few Swede bitchy resting faces. I'm thinking there's a genetic connection. So I will find some graves. I will find some cousins here and see what they
That's
hate.
great. No, that's cool. I love it. And also, the other day I was informed that there's a new face floating around that's people are referring to as the disaffected queen face. And it's like old paintings of famous queens, like Queen Elizabeth and things like that, where they just look aloof and like they could care less about the people.
Yes, I love that.
Is awesome.
Yeah.
I could totally visualize that.
Yeah,
I know.
apparently.
It's already I have two paintings right in my eyes. Like, oh, I know what you're saying.
That's exactly right.
What is it called? Aloof queen?
Aloof queen face or something.
Oh
I forget the
gosh.
exact term. It's pretty funny.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it made me laugh. All right. Have fun with your trip there, and we'll talk soon. And
Okay.
Bye. Have fun.
Goodbye.
See you. All right. Off
Very
she goes.
good.
Good times. Brian, that's it. That's our show. Brian's Unrecommendal, though. This is a new segment.
yeah.
We got a new segment. I'm going to play a theme for it. Here you go. Let's see. I want to find a good one. Jim died. All right. Yep. Jim died. Wait. How about
Bula bula.
That's-
Bila bila
yeah,
bula.
That one's good.
His pubis.
Pubis.
Penum.
Penum.
My limp penis.
I just have so many.
Oh, mark that one off your bingo card, folks.
I love it when you squeeze me.
All right, great. Go ahead.
I don't know how I can follow that.
Yeah.
So last night, Tina and I watched a movie came out last year and is available on Netflix, but not streaming, available via DVD, which is called Men, Women, and Children.
All right.
And this is like one of those ensemble cast films that's got like a huge, big cast of maybe not A-list, but certainly B-list actors like, Hank Schrader, Dean Norris is in there, J.K. Simmons, Dennis Haysbert, Judy Greer, Emma Thompson, Jennifer Garner. Like it's one of Adam Sandler. So it's like one of these
big ensemble pieces,
big ensemble thing, like kind of like the New Year's Eve and He's Just Not That Into You and stuff like that. But it's about parenting, and it's almost a representation of how you can possibly be the worst parent ever.
Wow.
Because all of these people play parents and spouses and things like that. And, you've got Adam Sandler and Rosemary DeWitt who are cheating on each other. You've got Jennifer Garner, who is this super controlling parent who monitors her daughter's internet usage and tracks her on her phone constantly. And then you've got Judy Greer, who's kind of the opposite, who started taking photos of her daughter for like an acting portfolio online. And then when creepy old men started looking at the site and offering to pay money for some of the photos, she turned it into like this underage.
She made a little business out of it.
Made a little business out of it.
Sounds horrible.
and it tries to do the thing and say, here's all these parents, why they're bad, and here's them figuring it out and changing things before it gets too far. But my God, I mean, these parents are horrible.
Yeah. It sounds like one of those. I don't like those kind of movies, especially if they're done badly, where you're just like, movies called Horrible People, or like Horrible Bosses. I don't even want to watch that. I don't like people being bad.
Right, and it's not intentional. It's not like it's it's intentional, but it's not like it's a comedy of like, oh, how bad can they be? But here's the thing: is you've got, if it's a 2-hour movie, you've got an hour and 45 minutes of them steering their children down the wrong road and being, oppressive or too liberal with their kids or whatever, and turning their kids into little monsters because of it. And then you've got 15 minutes where they feel like they've got to wrap things up, and it feels like they didn't know how they were going to end some storylines. And they just said, this couple that both were horrible and disinterested to each other and cheated on each other, they're going to go ahead and just kind of shrug their shoulders and say, well, let's just chalk it up to we both had fun.
What's the name of it again? Give me the name.
Men, Women, and Children.
Let's see, 2014. It's
2014,
we're just fair to middling reviews across the board. No one really likes it.
And it had potential. The previews looked great, but then, watching the damn thing,
not good.
So disappointing. Tell me something you can recommend, though.
I'm going to recommend something, and I'm only like a third the way through, and I already love it. Now, I'm biased toward Westerns. You know that. I already like them kind of out of the gate. But I was very curious about Tommy Lee Jones's, he directed and acted in last year's The Homesman. Was much talked about, then didn't hear much. Now it's streaming. He's in it. Hilary Swank is in it.
The Homesman.
Bunch of people you also know, like, let's see, Barry Corbin. It's freaking fantastic.
Give me really quick. Give me a what's his power?
What's his power?
He's able to help you remember the names of the 5 Great Lakes. Excelsior.
Nicely done. William Fichtner's in it. John Lithgow, Tim Blake Nelson, Jesse Plemons, James Spader, for heaven's sakes. Meryl Streep is in it, not for long, but a bit. Like a big group of people are in this movie.
Yeah, it looks like a great cast.
I like it a lot. Rotten Tomatoes only gives it it only gets a 6.6 on IMDb. Let's see, Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see. It's definitely it's a darker spin. It's hard stuff. It's not meant to be a happy-go-lucky deal. Homesman. Here we go. Homesman. See, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 82. So there you go. That's more like where I'm thinking. I think it's good. I think it's really good. So if you want to see yourself a Western and a good one, the one that you missed and didn't really show up in all the theaters in the country, that's a good movie so far, and I'm not even done with it. So recommended. So see that instead of Brian's Men, Women, and Children.
Please do.
Take that.
And if you did see Men, Women, and Children, you agree with me, please let me know.
Yeah, let us know. I think we're done. Is Carrie around? Do we know?
Yeah, she's in the chat room, and I'm sure she's got points.
Well, let's add her in then. Because why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not indeed?
Oh, Cleo!
Cleo, hover by your thing. I hope you're hovering by your
We also
thing.
watched the first episode of Sense8.
Oh, yeah? What'd you think?
I liked it.
Yeah?
It's got a very Twilight Zone-y, Lost kind of feel to it, so...
I'm in.
Yeah, hopefully
I do want to see that.
Continues to be good.
I hope so, too. Let's do her theme. Here you go.
Gumdrops with balls.
There you go.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Wow.
How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Listen to Brian say this.
For fuck's sake.
Whoa, I forgot it wasn't bleeped.
Whoa! Well done, Brian.
I better go fix that in post.
Brian said that to me once or twice in the past. It's all good.
I thought I bleeped that. What was I thinking? All right. Anyway, sorry. Duh.
No need to apologize. Of all the people you're going to talk to on this show, I'm the one that's going to be least offended by that.
That's probably true. Yes. So what's up? How are you? What's our points? How'd we do? What are we doing?
We did pretty good. Let's see if I can scroll up here without absolutely knocking the hell out of my computer. Okay, we're talking about Star Wars tools. Was one of the questions you asked the other night. I think it was our good friend, ironic name, who said Cleo's nickname in high school was Horizontal Booster, which I thought was kind of nice. Well done, guys.
That's pretty good.
See, I can laugh at myself because I know what I was like in high school.
Of course. Well,
Let's see. We got into talking about David Hasselhoff' selling Kit from Knight Rider, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it snowballed into a conversation about Olivia Newton-John being in Las Vegas and what she's been doing, and was slippery down the slippery slope of getting into the Let's Get Physical workout video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we were talking about what else has she been doing. Free Ranger said treadmilling with Jonah Hill is the worst workout video ever. 'Cause that's not fun.
I'd watch it though.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. What's that? What was that one? The lady who walks around. The video that was.
Oh, the
I'm
walk-in
thinking
one.
treadmilling with Jonah. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
Ryan.
she was
The
fantastic.
prancer-sized woman.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
Prancer-sizing with Jonah Hill would be fantastic.
She was great, man.
Camels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zeus
Icor said the new Punisher theme song was "Do Your Ears Hang Low? Do They Wobble to and Fro?" We were talking about earlobes.
Nice.
Good song. And crowdsourcing for this week, I threw out give us names for the new American version of Hogwarts. The University of Phoenix came up, which, while being an online university, is also pretty damn clever because, you know, they give you a wand with Phoenix. See? Went there.
That's really good, actually.
That
That's
is good.
very funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody else said Brushwood Academy, which I thought was good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Punch out to Brian.
Yeah.
And Will Diamond wins the week by saying Hagrid doesn't pick you up. It's Billy Bob Hagrid of the United States. He
Nice.
drives a beat up pickup covered in primer, and he says things like, "Y'all here for the wizard school?"
I love it. Off to the University of Phoenix.
Very good.
Yep. University of
Brilliant.
Phoenix.
Good ones
Good
this
times.
week. Nicely done.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing well. Everything going well? You doing good?
Yeah, we're hanging in there. I'm still trying to figure out if I can swing a trip out to Utah. I may be in the building, but not in the room. So we'll see what I can do about that.
We'll figure that out. But that sounds great. I would love to obviously have you.
Yeah,
well, stay out of the trouble, and we'll talk to you next time. Yeah, well, I know
All right.
you. I know you. Bye now. All right, Brian. That concludes our broadcast day. Not actually. We'll be back tonight with TMSPM.
Yes.
Dan will be here, so we'll be talking what your board game plans are for the weekend and other fun stuff. So be back here at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time Zone. Frogpants.com/TMS is our website. You can support us, which makes the Friday PM or the Wednesday or Thursday PM episode possible at Patreon.com.
What day is this?
What is this? Who am I? Who are you? It's Patreon.com/TMS. Support us there, and you too could win giant prizes like our earlier winner today. Felicia, what was her last name? Hollenbeck.
Hollenbeck.
Is it Hollenbeck? Hollenbeck.
Hollenbeck or Hollenbeck.
That's where I used to go with Barkley. We'd make all sorts of great stories together.
Yeah, we're in the Hollenbeck.
The Hollenbeck,
Sure.
yeah.
Yes.
The morningstream@gmail.com is our email address. You can leave us voicemails as well. Play them on the show, 471-0462. That's 801-471-0462. On Twitter, Morning Stream, Scott Johnson, Coverville. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all we have. The Instance tomorrow. Film Sack this
There'll be a
weekend.
Coverville tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll time it to be right after the Instance or something.
Yeah.
If that works.
That'd be all right.
Oh, no, because you guys wrap up right around lunchtime.
Yeah, we start at 10 and we end at noon-ish.
Yeah.
So that depends on who gets there and how quick they get started. But yeah, that's the plan. All right, watch for all that. Brian, you got some music for me?
I do. Zero Night wrote in and has had a rough time. Greetings. I've been listening for ages and wrote in a few times, but never really had hardship or problems to ask for a song. And by the way, you don't have to have hardships or problems.
Yeah,
or,
that's not required by
Yes.
any means. Yeah.
And we hope that you don't
Yeah.
have those.
Indeed.
I guess first time for everything, huh? My father died a week and a half ago, and I'm stuck on the day before. My wife pulled my ring off my finger and put it on the other, saying that we should be friends. Our 8-year anniversary is coming soon. I'd like to remember the good times with a song. Anything you could do to help me move on would be great. Just something to try and make the daily 8-hour drive I do for work more tolerable, as I'm thankful for what little comfort the morning stream brings me each day. Thanks and best wishes, TMS and crew.
Sorry,
Well, Zero
man.
Night,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man, because it sounds like you've had a very rough go recently, and I wanted to pick a song that was uplifting and fun, and actually could be the soundtrack to, like if we picture this time period you're going through as kind of a movie, this would be the opening music of the story where the happy ending is things get turned around for you and everything's great. So think of this, and this thing makes a perfect opening music theme song. You can actually see the opening credits as they roll. And it shows you in your car, you're driving for 8 hours, and this is the theme. This is a cover of Kellis's Millionaire but I like it so much better than the original. The original actually had Andre 3000 from Outkast in it as well. This one's done more as an instrumental, and it's so damn peppy and uppy that I just can't not dance when I hear it. And I hope, well, if you're driving, don't dance, but maybe bounce around in your seat in the car. It is called Millionaire. It's by Sean Lee's Ping Pong Orchestra from their album Hits the Hits. It is Millionaire.
All right, see you guys tonight, 4:30 p.m. Be here or be square. Oh, and it'll be up on the feed tomorrow. So if you would rather get it on the podcast, that's fine too. See ya.